All right, my name's Kelly. I've got Destiny here with us. Thank you, Landon, for letting us be a part of this. I'll kind of go through a little back history on how we got started. We started off as a Sock of the Month club where members would sign up and they'd get a brand new pair of socks in the mail every month. At that time, we weren't familiar with the promotional products industry whatsoever. This was back in 2013. One night after most of the staff had left, there was a call from a PR firm, and they said they were launching Adobe Lightroom, and the lady said, "Hey, can you put a logo on a sock?" And I'm traditionally a sales guy, and when somebody's asking that, you don't know how to say no. So first answer was yes, and called the factory, said, "Guess what? I just sold X amount of socks." They're like, "That's awesome." I said, "But we got to figure out how to put a logo on it." Back then it was mainly dots and stripes and some designs. So we worked with the manufacturer for about, I don't know, 120 days to refine the process. And that was our first look into the industry of promotional products. When we first joined back in 2014, we were the first ones doing a knitted product. Back then, everybody was doing what they called dye subs. So you were getting a polyester sock. Back then, there was a reason polyester went out of style, is because it felt horrible, especially on your feet. The way you can tell a sock's woven or not is turn it inside out. You'll see additional yarn. That's what they call knarling. That lets you know it's a woven sock. What makes us different than every other sock company out there is we have the lowest minimums in the industry. So it's a 50 pair minimum with us. We don't sell outside the industry, so only to our partners in the industry. We have the lowest minimums on our dress and athletic. When everything went business casual, socks kind of became the new tie for guys. And our most popular style is what they call the casual crew dress sock. That's the one when everything went business casual. That's what guys started wearing in the workplace. What can make a sock kind of different than every other promotional product is guys like to show off their socks. Hey, check out my new ones. I got this. They'll wear them inside and outside of work. So you're going to get some additional signage that you may not get with some of the other products. Socks is something they can wear to work and outside of work.
Yeah, like just real quick, so to everybody who's in the call, I just posted a link to the dress sock from the SOCK101 website in here. So feel free to open that up. You'll get a good sense of pricing. As he mentioned, minimum order quantity is 50 pieces. So that's great. And then, yeah, keep on keeping on.
All right. And some of the things that set us apart is there's no additional charge for PMS color match with us. We also use the highest needle count. What that means is we can knit the most detail with the least amount of pixelation. And that's probably a big definer in the industry is, like he said, there's a lot of companies out there that can knit socks, but the design and the quality of the logo is going to be pixelated or janky. And
our sock's probably a pretty good example of that. I would say.
I mean, that's high quality detail. We can use up to 200 needle count, which just means we're using a finer thread to knit a finer amount of detail. We also have come up with a recycled version for clients needing green options, fully recycled PMS color match dyed sock or knitted sock, same quality as the traditional. Our second most popular style is going to be our athletic socks. And the differences are we can do the old school ribbed look, which is becoming kind of popular again, or what they call flat knit. Either one, and we can do those at any length. I have 3 boys, so back in the day, they were buying Nike Elite socks that had the extra arch support. They have the ventilation on top to help with moisture wicking and the additional heel toe pad. So basically, these are modeled after Nike Elites. The athletic socks can be any length. So here's an ankle version. We do thigh high, knee high, and everything in between. Any types of materials. Anything hosiery related, we can handle. Like I said, athletics is the second most popular style. That's also a 50 piece minimum. I'll kind of get into some of our specialty stuff now. We grab a
Kelly, this is, and while you're looking, this is just a great point and something we miss. You know, we get hyper focused because of the clients we serve on the business sock, but you know, on their website here, and I think Brett did link to it And as you're going through now, there are all kinds of different types of socks that you guys offer. The, the youth socks, the infant and toddler socks, the ankle socks, all those kind of things. So this is good to see the breadth of the sock options there.
Yeah, and then you had mentioned, you briefly mentioned the word dye sub, and for a lot of the folks on the call that aren't familiar with the print processes in our industry, dye sublimation is basically where they take a white sock and they print it with like a CMYK printer over the top of the sock. Is that correct? And you guys are saying, no, that's not what we do. And if you've seen a printed sock, a lot of times when you stretch the sock, it just like doesn't look all that great on the inside. The imprint isn't transmittable through there. And then so what you guys are saying is that all of your socks, the designs are custom woven within the socks themselves to really give you that like higher end look and feel as opposed to a cheaper printed sock.
Exactly. And our design team will work closely with you guys and your team to only put something that can be knitted on the sock. Obviously, there's gradient designs and some detail that just can't be knitted, where, dye sub may have to be an option. But the reason the industry got away from dye sub is because it was going on a poly sock. Like he said, the design would get distorted. It looked really good when it wasn't on an ankle, but depending on the size of the calf, if it got stretched a bunch or a little, it was going to distort this design. You'd see white bleed through, and people just kind of got a bad taste for a while with socks.
Absolutely.
So
what are the now I see here, so obviously the pricing here on the website includes a custom knit in design, but I don't see anywhere where it mentions how many colors a client is able to utilize for that.
Good question. You can have up to 6 colors on a sock. If you think of a sock as knitted like a spaghetti noodle going around the sock, and each time it stacks up a notch. So you can go 6 colors on a sock, depending on the design. There's some designs where we can't put that many different yarns together at that point. Otherwise, it'll start to fray. But like I said, our designers are only going to design something that is knittable for you guys. And again, using that highest needle count allows that minor detail to be done. I would, with work from home and kitting becoming so popular over the last couple years, our most popular kitted sock was our fuzzy sock. See if you have a baby one back there in the Netflix. So our fuzzy socks, a grippy, and a Jeep one as well. Our fuzzy socks, they're super warm, soft, like butter soft. Ladies will love these. Guys will wear them too. They just won't admit it. But this is a nice, if you're doing in-home work kits, and we can kit these in single boxes, double pair boxes. We do kit other people's items as well. Just kind of depends what you're looking for. We're a good option for that because we can drop ship out of Kansas City. So we're a 2 to 3 day ground ship anywhere in the country. One of the other popular styles is we do merino wool. Just to highlight, we can use all types of materials, moisture wicking, antimicrobial we've done before, but anything hosiery related. Something that's popular with nurses and construction workers and people on their feet all day is going to be your compression sock. So this is like a true compression sock. 12 mm is the measurement. Mm is the technology they use to measure compression socks. So this is a true sports compression sock. But if you're traveling, nurses, things like that, rave about them. We do infant socks as well. If you've got maternity clients, we can do onboarding where you package a fuzzy sock and a baby sock. You get a great mom and me pack. So people always ask, who's a good option for socks? Well, let's start with all your clients with feet, pretty much. There's a sock category that's good for some. Even the construction guys, they love the athletic socks or the woolen socks if they're working outside. Golf tournaments, just onboarding of new clients or product launches, all are good ways to use socks as a promotional item in that realm. And like I said, if you design a cool sock, guys are going to show it off to other guys and say, hey, check these out, or where'd you get those? It's kind of a guy thing. Like I said, when everything went business casual, it's a new way to differentiate yourselves in the workplace.
Absolutely. And it's a promo that just lasts a while. Like I can't remember the last time I threw away a pair of socks, like, unless it was just like absolutely busted. And as a guy, the only time I ever buy socks is, well, never. And I usually just hope that I get them in as a Christmas gift, or
Right.
somebody hands them to me at an event or something like that. So they really are just a fun way to build your brand with your clients and employees, and something that will likely not get thrown away.
Exactly. And yeah, the only time I throw away socks is when my wife comes and says, your sock drawer is overflowing. You need to rotate some old ones out of
Yeah,
that.
that's a good sign.
Yeah. A couple years ago, though, competition in the marketplace really started to increase. I think Landon kind of alluded to it earlier, where there were sock companies sprouting up from all over. People never thought it'd be a kind of a stick item. They thought, it was just going to be a few years run, but now it's kind of a staple piece in the industry. But as that competition increased, we started to look at other opportunities in the marketplace that would be a good fit for us. And obviously what goes good with socks is shoes. And I know that a few companies had tried it in the past, and they had 4 real struggle areas with the shoes. First and foremost was the print quality of the shoes. They were trying to print shoes after they were cut and sewn, and we took a much different approach with it. There was 4 big problems. The first was the print quality. They were limited on styles. The minimums were too high, and pricing was ridiculous. So we worked backwards and reverse engineered about 10 different pairs to start with, where we learned to flat print the shoe, then cut and print and sew and print it, or cut and sew it after it was printed. So everything on these shoes is going to line up where it's supposed to. But the byproduct of that was perfect, because this was right before the pandemic was hitting. People started working from home, minimums came down. What we did is we learned how to basically print shoes on demand. So what that means to you is I can do a minimum of 1 pair of shoes, and pricing's not ridiculous. So I can do 1 pair of shoes. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks to produce, but it's fully customizable. We're up to, sorry about that. We're up to 26 different styles, sandals, slides, flip-flops, Crocs. Everything but the Croc is going to be a 1-piece minimum. So you can do 1 pair of shoes with a custom logo, custom design all throughout. We can even put a picture on shoes. And we're turning those in about 3 to 4 weeks, the same amount of time it's taken us to do the socks. But it's something new out there. In men's apparel, shoes is the fastest growing part of it. One of our most popular kitted shoes over the last couple of years is our fuzzy slippers. It's got recycled poly on the inside and memory foam upper with a gel base. Super comfortable slipper, much upgraded from the normal hotel terry you're getting. But like I said, we've got 26 styles. We're developing new ones all the time. This is like an Allbird, where we do a heat transfer logo. We just introduced a Hey Dude style. But like I said, in men's apparel, the fastest growing part of it is footwear. And what we've learned is there's like a sneakerhead in every office, whether he's an Air Force One guy or the old Chucks and Vans. There's something that's going to appeal to them, and it's just new and way different. I
have loved the thought of doing custom shoes for clients for a long time, but I've always thought that the notion of getting everybody's size. So I know, in speaking to Destiny, like for the slippers, like you guys made that relatively simple with, it's like either small, medium, large, and it runs the gamut. You can fit a lot of people. But for a lot of these other ones, like what is a best practice for a company that has like 150 employees and they want to have like a cookout and they want to give a custom pair of shoes? Is it best for them to just send out like an Excel spreadsheet that says, hey, we're getting some custom shoes, send me your size, and then we send in a purchase order to you guys like that? Or like, what is the best practice then?
Great question. There's a couple ways. Pre-pandemic, we were doing what we used to call sip and size events, where it was a great opportunity. If you had access to that building or those employees, what we do is, let's say you selected the Air Force One style. We'd send you out a range of sizes in that style so everybody could actually try the shoes on. It was also a good opportunity then for you to show those clients other opportunities that you may not have been in a position to show them before, whether that's, some of the other products that we don't offer or what have you. But sometimes getting past that gatekeeper and allowing, because everybody was going to show up because they wanted to get a pair of shoes. Usually,
like
there,
the
like I
shoes.
said, liquor involved gets people
Yeah.
to most events.
Yeah, yeah.
But just, what we've done now is, like you said, we can do the spreadsheet, or we can still send out a range of sizes that they can try on and pass around the workplace. We did 800 pairs of shoes. We had one wrong size. And to be honest, I know it was a guy who lied about his shoe size. He said he was a 10, he was really an 8, but I'm not here to judge people as long as they're honest.
Usually guys are only famous for lying about our shirt size after we go from high school to college to.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're lying about their shoe size. No, I mean, just like in Nike, you might wear 2 different sizes and 2 different Nike styles. If people just send us their average shoe size, we know what styles are going to run big and small, and we'll take care of that accordingly and have those sized right away. Usually we don't.
Here's my only question here, Kelly, is my concern would be like, and I don't know if this is the way people think about it, but like, what's the quality of the shoe itself? Like, because obviously a shoe is something that needs to be comfortable and so how would you kind of like address that question or concern?
Perfect. Okay. All these shoes are what they call lifestyle shoes, and I'll liken them to yoga pants. It's like yoga pants that never see the inside of a yoga studio. These are like gym shoes that never see the inside of a gym. So lifestyle shoes is basically a tennis shoe that's not worn for anything other than looks and that. The Air Force One, the Stan Smiths, the Vans, the Chucks are exactly the same. I would say our only difference is where our quality is maybe not up to the others is going to be our insoles. It's just not like a Nike insole, but what you can do is take your insoles out of your Nikes and put them in there. Other than that, I've got a lot of people in the office that were Chucks and Vans beforehand. It's the same shoe, the exact same stitching pattern, everything. We might change a little bit of design on the sole so we don't get in trouble for copyrights or anything like that. But same fit and quality you're going to get on one of those is going to be like this.
Got it. Very good.
Along those lines is we do offer our own custom packaging for the socks. You can do, I think he showed you a belly band earlier.
Yeah, we did this belly band. So
we can also do a custom hang tag. Here's a great example of the detail we could knit. This was for the Truman Library, but believe it or not, that's a woven sock. So you can really see the detail we can go with there. But along the lines, when we learned to print on demand, company stores were becoming extremely popular with us. We had a ton of requests for kits, blankets, and things that we could put in kits. So instead of a blanket, we took a little different approach to things. We call these our cozy capes. I'm sorry, this is a kid size. They come in kid sizes.
Nothing like Fireball for the kids.
That's very Kylo Ren.
Exactly. On the inside, it's the same recycled poly we're using on the slippers. It can be done in a white or a black with a full dye sub outer. So now's where we go back to the dye sub side of things. Just like on the shoes, it's a full custom PMS color match print. You can literally put a picture on these. They come shrink wrapped all the way down to kids sizes, but a really popular kitting item. And again, we just—
Hey, Kelly, real quick, where is that item on the website? I was just trying to find it. Is it under apparel or blankets?
Blankets.
Yeah, I just linked it in the chat boxes.
Oh, gotcha.
Cozy Cape hooded blanket.
I got a quick question here. I got a client interested in those, but they're looking for me to find a source that could print both sides. Is that possible?
We have a pullover version. I guess I could line.
Well, I was told by another supplier that the reason you can't is because that material is not that comfortable against your skin. And
I would tend to agree. We've got a new one coming out that's more like a pullover version. It's got pockets and things like that. But I'm sure we could take the material and coat it on the inside. Again, you're going to lose that fuzzy fur feeling on the inside if we do that.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you.
And then I think also in that blanket thing is we just introduced a more plush version. So it's a little thicker, a little more plush version of it.
Like a velvet feel.
yeah, more velvety feel. We never thought we'd get into apparel. I had, like I said, 3 boys that started coming home. They're in their 20s and they started coming home with new Nike and Under Armour Sheen Poly, and it had some print on it. In this industry previous, we used to flip print everything, and going back to those white streaks and seams, you would see white streaks down underneath the arms.
Because that was,
would-
again, that was them printing it after construction, correct? So that meant that
correct.
yeah.
Right. So, like I said, they would knit the garment, then try and print it one side and flip it over and print the other, which was okay in the start, but it just left for really unquality prints. What we've done is, just like Landon was saying, we flat print everything, then cut and sew and put it together. So what you're going to get is a full dye sub print across the garment with no seams. Everything's going to match up where it's supposed to. You can really see, like on this fuzzy jacket, even the cuffs are individually printed, cut and sewn. So everything's going to line up where it's supposed to. No more seams, full dye sub print. Again, you can kind of see how we're using the same material across a range of products, so we don't run out of stock on these items. Everything's aired in overseas, so we're not held up with all the shipping issues that's plaguing the industry. And like I said, print on demand, we're turning it in 3 to 4 weeks. Obviously, during Christmas time, those you're probably getting closer to 4 to 5 weeks, but right now we're doing stuff as quick as 2. We've got a sweatshirt, a pullover, a zip-up hoodie, a long and short sleeve. We've even developed a backpack that we're doing print on demand that's pretty cool, and a tote bag. We're just going with high volume items that we think we can really move. We don't want to sell one of any of these neither, but we do understand sometimes one leads to 100, 100 leads to 1,000. The tote bag, we really didn't think much of it, but we had a lot of success at a national sales event we did. People really like that. The backpack's more like a Jan Sport, but it's the all over print that's getting the raves. The quality of the print is just next level. Even on the straps, we're getting that full print. But they're all 1-piece minimums. Everything but my socks and Crocs is all a 1-piece minimum, print on demand, dye sub print. We're developing new styles and products all the time. If you see something you really like, let us know. We're pretty good about being able to copy or come close to those things. Where we really shine is our before production. Destiny can kind of talk about how you shoot us logos. Do you have a deck of anybody you can pull up? But we can do, when you shoot us a logo, we understand, you know, we're going to show it across a range of our products. We're going to highlight the capabilities of the designers. If we have time, or you can send us the brand guidelines, they'll even go on to the company's website, you know, see, is it laid back? Are we looking for more wild and crazy? What type of event are we using this for? Just anything. I'm going to see if we can share our screen with you here and kind of show you what those look like. Give us a second.
Yeah, and I can speak to, or I want to speak to that, you know, Destiny's been awesome as far as, you know, if we have artwork. So for example, I've had a conversation with Katie here about, you know, something for KFC, and I can take an imprint that we've used on some other things and send it and just say, hey, can you create some mock-ups? We did that for a client recently, a lady who was supposed to be on the call today. I think she had a conflict last minute, but their Stonewood is the name of the company. And I sent the logo and the colors to Destiny and just said, hey, they're interested in the business sock. Here's their logo and colors. And they came back to me with 5 designs that I was able to send. Kelly, I think I'm on track with what you're kind of talking about. Right? Yeah. And it was awesome because I was able to send that out, and she looked at it and said, we really like this one. Could you make this little change? They make that little change. And then we had an order, and they were really happy with the design. So, and then I know they're very willing to send samples. And so all that pre-sale process, they are very responsive, very helpful with design, and very willing to send samples. So, and that's one of the many reasons I think we have them on here and that we consider them a really important partner of ours.
Yeah, and it's always been important for us to keep our designers in-house so we can go make those quick changes. We pride ourselves on turning everything logo-wise 24 hours or less. But yeah, there's always going to be some back and forth with changes and hey, we need this here or a little more of this. But yeah, being able to make those changes right away for you and your clients, we think is something that's very important. We'll continue to grow our design team and add products to the list. But yeah, give me a second here. This is taking some time to load up, but we just kind of want to highlight one of those decks for you and show you, you know, hey.
So like one thing I saw is I am like all in on a pair of board shorts with our sock imprint all over them. Like,
Yeah.
I already sent Destiny an email. I'm like, I'm getting a pair of these swim trunks like yesterday.
Yeah, we did some for Eggo waffles. That was our first pair we did. And, you know, the feedback's been really good on that stuff. But again, it's the ability to cut and sew and print that before it's cut and sewn. That's setting us apart from what other people are doing.
No doubt.
Certainly,
So like, I'm just
there's-
curious, this might be a very technical question, Kelly, but like, are you guys, is the way that that's done is essentially you've got a pattern and you're lining up the imprint with a pattern? Or I mean, how's that accomplished?
Okay, like on a shoe, for example, I'm gonna get technical and geeky, and I learned way more than I was ever supposed to. But they call the upper part of a shoe a vamp. So if you start to take out the stitching on a shoe and then lay each one of those pieces, you'll see it's a shoe's comprised of different panels. So
Yep.
each panel's printed, then cut and sewn and put together. Some different styles, you know, it can be one large panel with minimal stitching, like the Chucks and the Vans, but it is all over the board. Here's a really good style of a shot of a van. And it's just like the Vans I kind of want to show. He was talking about quality. It's got that same padding around the top of the ankles that the other Vans do. The exact same sole pattern. Something we learned on Chucks and Vans is, you know, that gum bottom is really important to the stability of the shoe. So we've always kept that integrity with it. But yeah, printing things flat just allows for a much more quality. They even learned how to print socks on a tube. But even then, the quality of the print was still trying to go around a thing and shoot it with a laser. Still wasn't of the ilk of printing them flat and then cut and sewn. When they were flat printed, the seams were just, there was no way you could get all the way on a garment down to that seam. So there would always be leftover. If you're flat printing, everything's going to line up, especially the cuff lines is where you really notice these things. But yeah, just a new approach to it. And again, that keeps us from having to stock a bunch of items, and reducing cost for your clients is part of the objective too. So not having to stock a bunch of items, trying to outfit a whole company, just give us the sizes, print, made to order, ready to go.
Got it. Good. And I didn't know where you were headed next, Kelly, but we're getting close to time. I do know that one thing I did want to talk about is your kits. And I just wanted to, and we don't have probably a lot of time to go into detail, but the thing I would say is, and Brett, if you wouldn't mind popping the link to the kits into the chat. But the deal is, and this is what we talked about with Destiny yesterday, kits in our industry, there's a lot of people that do them and offer them, but what you guys have done is made it really simple. It's, you know, when I click on a kit on your website, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, it includes all the items that are shown, full color print, and it's pretty straightforward pricing. And the only additional cost that they would be getting into would be a fee for each dropship location plus actual shipping to each dropship location. Did I get that right?
You're nailed it. And we tried to, everything in this industry is so confusing. You know, this for this, if it's a small, it's this much. If it's a large, we just kind of went, let's cover the base. Yeah, we're going to have some double XLs. Sure, we're going to have some extra smalls, but let's price everything based on a large and a medium and go that route and keep things simple. We just took our most popular kits in the first 12 months and made those product items. So kind of letting you guys tell us what's been picked and out there. Those are the type of kits you're seeing. And I'm sure.
And there's no setup charges on those kits, right? So when I see, for example, Cozy Kit 1, just picking the very first one, 50 kit minimum, it's $112 roughly. There's no additional charges. There's no setups or anything. That's it. And you would pay just the drop ship and the actual shipping, correct?
Correct.
Got it.
That's it. Again, just keeping things simple, just making it like another product really allowed us to do that. Even though there's 4 SKUs in the box or 3 SKUs in the box, it's one product item.
Very good. Okay. Well, Kelly, did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on, or?
No, just Destiny is a true rock star to work with.
She is.
She's awesome and responsive. So please, if you think you've got somebody interested, shoot the logo to her, let her work her magic and take some of that work out of your hands for you guys, and we'll make it happen.
Awesome. So, well, Kelly, thanks for doing this. Destiny, thank you. And that's what we've found, is that Destiny is a wonderful partner for us, very, very responsive, and helps us. So from this, I mean, our hope is that the folks on this call, and again, we're recording it and we will distribute it by email for the rest of our customers who weren't able to join live. Anybody watching this now or in the future, you know how we work. Reach out to us, you know where to find us, and then we've got a great partner to go and start putting some concept designs together. If any of these things you've seen here, or if you go to the website and see interest you. So yeah, we're excited to get started on some projects. I know I've got one or two already. Brett, you got anything you want to add?
I do not. I think it was all well said. Hopefully you can see why we're really excited about SOCK 101. Tons of really great, fun things. These guys obviously care a lot about the quality of the print, of the quality of the items. They price themselves out accordingly. They've basically positioned themselves to make it as easy as possible to get some really, really cool stuff that has historically in our industry been a little bit overwhelming and difficult to try to do. From the virtuals to the products themselves. I mean, it's great. We love working with you guys, and hopefully this leads to a lot of opportunities.
The last point I was going to make, and just ask you guys, kind of, put you on the spot a little bit with respect to samples. I know you're very willing to send samples. Some of those will be sent for free. There's probably a cost to some of them. But that, am I understanding that right? Like, depending on what we need, you guys can just advise us what a sample cost will be.
Yeah, and definitely if you think there's opportunity there, we're going to make that first one as cheap as possible for you and work with you guys.
Got it. Very good. Well, before I go, does anybody I know we've been doing some chatting here, and there's some folks on the call, our customers. Do any of you want to unmute, ask a question, pop a question into the chat? Or is there anything we can address, or is everybody ready to just get back to their day?
Throw in a comment real quick, a couple really. One, I might have missed what you were saying about sizing when it comes to the shoes. But we've always found that you can apply a bell curve to the sizing and come very close to what you end up needing, which really simplifies trying to do that. But I also think the implications of this running any kind of a business gift on a personalized one-on-one level for clients is just mammoth.
We do a lot of company stores with it, and we do a lot of EME events, and there would be 42 meetings over 2.5 days, and to kind of squish those spheres in under 2.5, 3 weeks, we would produce a different pair for each person at those events. So everybody had their own style, logo, and design to squish those spheres. Like I said, if people just give us their regular shoe size, we're going to know, hey, the Chuck runs big, the Stan Smith runs small, and generally we don't have a lot of issues. But if you have the opportunity, like I said, and they select the style, Destiny can send you out size, 8 to 13 or 8 to 15 in that style, so your clients can try them on. But whatever works best for you. But we've learned, treat it like any other apparel item, and we should be good to go.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks again. Everybody have a great day.